A crisis on our southern border, waves of illegal immigrants posing financial, public health, and law enforcement risks to the U.S. This as graffiti litters the walls of processing centers to recruit teens for violent gangs. Where do we draw the line to protect our country? With me now, Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha. Chuck, thanks for being with us this evening. Look, no one disagrees that these children need to be treated with respect, humanely, and compassionately. I guess the issues are whether or not they really are who they say they are, and are they really fleeing a humanitarian crisis?
Well, people on the border would say that they would. From the reports that I've got from my friends there, it was so good to see Congressman Gomer. It's so good to see my home congressman from Tyler, Texas, where I'm from. I was raised in a Baptist church there, and the good Lord speaks that we should never turn our back on children. We sing a hymn in Sunday school that said, Jesus loves all the children of the world, red or yellow, black or white. And I think that's what we stand on. I think there's two separate issues. I think there's these children, and I think there's the overarching immigration policy that we see as a failure overall right now. And there's a lot of blame to go around. But at the end of the day, we don't turn our back on children in America, and immigrants are who built this country, and I think what makes us strong, because we all look different, act different, come from different places in the world, but we all are Americans and believe in our values.
Yeah, but they're not Americans, and isn't that the point? Aren't we a country of laws where people from all over the world wait to come here? They wait to get a visa. Look, when I was a judge, I used to swear in naturalized citizens who waited years to come here. Right. They learned the language. They did everything they were supposed to. And there are people saying, wait a minute, is there really a humanitarian crisis? I mean, are they really trying to escape violence in their country? Is that what this is about?
I think the stories along the border that you hear of a woman who talked about her husband, who was a policeman, who was trying to clean up their neighborhood, who got murdered, and her children were being forced into the gangs. And we know as parents that the last thing you want to do is give your children to a coyote to go across the border. And if you're going to do that, that's the last resort. And so if they come in thinking that they're going to be killed, we should take them in and then follow the rule of the law, which says that we have to process these children, interview them, hence Obama asking for the $3.8 billion, because we want to follow the letter of the law.
Okay, but I want you to look at this recent study by, I believe it's a Latin American public opinion project, which says that the perception of crime victimization in Central America by Central Americans is that crime has dropped. So why, if crime has dropped, are we now saying it's so bad there, they're coming over now? Aren't they being lured by what happened with President Obama in 2012?
I think that they're not, and this is the reason I say that, is because I've got a son who's grown now, and I know the last thing that I would want to do is give my son to anybody to trust to go across the border. And I do politics. I see polls all the time, and I know that polls can be manipulated to say whatever you want them to say. I don't think a parent, whether they were a father or a mother, would turn their child, whether they were 14 or 15 or 3 or 4, over to somebody else.
But that's you and that's me. If that child is the bootstrap to get into the United States and all of the benefits, then, you know, why wouldn't we, you know, why do we assume that that's the reason? Because you or I would only do it that way.
I still think that there is a moral code that America has stand on, and that we're built on a system of values that we go by, and I think that that's the reason that we would do this. I don't really think that people are coming here to gauge the system. And I think that the same amount of Mexican immigrants who come every day, 18,000 a month, that are turned around within 72 hours.
So let me ask you this. Why is Mexico allowing and facilitating the movement of these kids? Why isn't Mexico taking care of them? Why isn't Mexico feeding them and housing them? Why is Mexico just shoving them off to us?
There's a reason why Mexico's not the #1 nation in the world, and America is. Why we're the beacon of hope everywhere you go. People want to come here and start entrepreneurship.
I agree with you, absolutely.
Be proud Americans.
But what about all the other people who are in the middle of wars, who are trying to come here, who are being killed, whose countries are being destroyed? There are caliphates being created.
We welcome them every day.
No, we don't.
Absolutely.
They have to wait in line.
Let's
talk about the Middle East.
Citizen.
Let's talk about Europe. Let's talk about Russia. Let's talk.
You can't have it both ways.
They're people.
Absolutely, and
they're all people.
The one thing, you know what? The Americans.
Here's the thing. Who should pay for this?
Absolutely. I'm willing to pay for it every single day, because my parents came here and paid for it, and my grandparents did.
Did your parents come here legally?
My grandparents did.
Good, and so did mine. And therein lies the rub. Thank you, Chuck Rocha, for being here. We're going to bring you back. All right, coming up, violent MS-13 gang members infiltrating the border. And in case you didn't know it, initiation into the gang includes a few rapes and a murder. A Border Patrol agent's frightening account. And in a Justice exclusive, one congressman fought the Obama administration's shroud of secrecy. His firsthand account since gaining entry to a facility housing these illegal children. Next.